Welcome to Getting to Know Your Tools. This is the first assignment for web development. We're going to be building a web page using an IDE, which is Integrated Development Environment, and we are going to use Notepad for this. The code you write is going to be interpreted by a web browser. Here I'm using Google Chrome, and for example, I've got a web page here called raspberrypi.org, issue 63. I want to talk to you about building an arcade machine. You've got a title, a paragraph, a picture, and it looks like it's got some links inside of a table. The content is the text. The presentation is how it's all laid out, beautiful and all that. The code for this, not quite human readable. This is a language that the developer has followed to create this wonderful product. And your assignment is to sell this game. And the HTML game is going to look like a traditional Monopoly board, with the exception of the colored properties not being called, for example, New York Avenue, but being called maybe the bold HTML tag. HTML tags are matched sets. You see here we have one called title and one called /title. If both of those appear together in an HTML document, the title will show up here in the top of the tabs. And before we can even get there, you need to go and get your assets. So that is going to happen in activity number 2. You go to your documents, and you're going to create a folder, new folder, call it www, and you're going to place all your images in here. Once you've got your folder built, you can either use Windows snipping tool to grab this picture, or head on over to Google Images. What do we got here? It looks like a traditional one. See the image. I can't really tell the resolution, so I'm going to go back. What do I mean by the resolution? This one is 964 by 966. 900, 800, 1140 by 1140. Let's go take a look at that one. That looks pretty nice. So I'm going to go and copy that one. You could also save the image, but copying puts it into the clipboard. I just got a couple of those left over from the first try at this. Just close those up. Alright, so here I am. I've got GIMP open. GIMP has the toolbox, and it has undo history and layers. If those are missing, you might have closed them, so it might be here, or layers and undo history are in the dockable dialogues, and you can make a new toolbox right here. But I have those, so I'm moving on. Under the edit menu, you have paste as. I'm going to take that image that's in the clipboard, and I'm going to make a new one. And from here, I'm going to copy the middle of the board. So I select the area with the rectangular select tool, copy with Control-C, and then I paste as a new image with Shift-Control-V. There we go. I'm going to save it with Control-Shift-S. So www, I'm going to call this the middle, and that XCF is a GIMP file format. So I now have this file. If I need to edit it in GIMP, I can do it. I'm going to export it as a PNG file. And this is the type of file that I can actually put on a web page. So, and that was Shift-Control-E. So I'm no longer going to have to use the menus up here because I now know their hotkeys. Alright, so I can close that. And I'm going to go back in, grab my first property. I'll select none, and then I can draw a new rectangle. Control-C, Control-Shift-V, and I'll make this box a little bit bigger. I'm going to zoom in with Control on the wheel, and I'm going to put some white over top of that. The brush looks to be too big, and I need the color picker tool. There it is, and I need the paintbrush. Oh, I missed. There we go. Add some new words. This is going to be title. Oh, they're white. So I was just typing there and I didn't see them, so I knew they went white. I selected them. There we go. If I don't like where that's positioned, I can move it over. And I'm ready to save. Control-Shift-S. This is, maybe I'll call this one dark purple 1. And I'm going to export it. Control-Shift-E. Purple 1. And while I got this open, I'm going to go back in here. Add my slash. Looks like we got to move it over a little bit more. Oops. Be careful I actually grab the right thing. And Control-Shift-S, I'll call this purple 2. And Control-Shift-E, call that purple 2. And close that. I'm going to need one of these corner ones. So I'll grab free parking. Control-C, V. That was Control-Shift-V, right? Don't want to do the export. I don't need to adjust the tag, so save this one as free P. Control-Shift-E for export, export, export. Close it down. And grab one of these side ones. Control-C, Control-Shift-V. And this one's a little bit trickier. I've got to rotate it before I can do the writing. And there's that paintbrush. There we go. And then the text tool. Need another tag. Oops. What are the tags that we need? They are down here. I think I'm going to go with the color equals one. I've done it again where I've got white writing. So this keeps happening. So I'm going to make the color of my text tool stay black. Oh, that's my tool. Alright, and gotta remember to transform it back. I'll save as orange 1, export it, and while I'm here I might as well do another one. Well, in fact, whoa, wrong one. This is going horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. So let's bring in the undo history. There we go. Another tag. Color equals, size equals. And clockwise, Control Shift S, orange 2, Control Shift E, orange 2. All right, take a look at the asset folder. It's now got a bunch of files in it, and you're starting to recognize it's quick, but it is still tedious. So I'm going to want to share this with a friend. And the best way to do that is on Google Drive. I'm going to make a new folder called HTML Monopoly. And only one of you needs to do this, because you can share this with a friend, put in their email address, hit done, go into the folder. You can drop your files by dragging them in, if you'd like. It will upload them, depending on your speed, be pretty fast. And then you can select them all and download them, and it'll zip them up into an archive. It'll download it. You can open that up, and you can extract all these to your folder. Documents, www, and it'll put them there. So for me, these already exist, so I'm just going to cancel it because I already own them. There you go. That's how you get your assets. Now, what do you do once you have them? You can do the coding. So I've given you the basic skeleton of a web page. You don't need all of this. This line right here tells the browser that you're going to have HTML5 code. For this assignment, we're not going to, so you can ignore that. If you don't want to have the title, don't worry about this line, which means you don't actually need the header at all. But you do need to have a body, you do need to have a paragraph, and you do need to tell the browser that it's going to be HTML. It's not case sensitive, so I can use lowercase. And the white space doesn't matter, so I can tab things if I want for my organization. And right away you'll notice I'm using Notepad++, which actually does preserve your alignment if you start tabbing, which is a nice feature. Alright, there is my opening paragraph, and I'm going to need a table. The table is going to have rows, and the table is going to have cells, and these need to match the closing tag. And I find it useful to block these off like so. Image source equals, and then I got to put the file name here, but how do I know that? Trust me, I'm not smarter than anybody else. I just have a little bit more experience, and I'm going to give you the same experience here. W3 Schools. It has all the tags for HTML, and the one we're working on is image, and here's what it looks like once you fill in all the properties. This is how the properties work. The source is the name of the file. This is case sensitive, so whatever you've named your file in here, let's go with free p as their first one. All lowercase except for that one p, and it's .png, has to be there. The alt, this is what you see if the picture can't be downloaded. You can put some text there if you want to. You don't need it to have these at all. The height and the width, you're probably going to end up playing with that if you want your pictures all to be the same size to make a proper square. But for now, let's just do the source. And it was free p.png. And I'm going to save this file in that directory under documents, www, call it index.htm, and I must not save it as a text file or nothing will work. So same in Notepad, you're going to have the choice of all types. This will preserve my file extension, save it, and a couple of choices for you here. You can double click it, it'll launch in whatever browser is your system default. You can drag the file into Chrome if you have Chrome open, or if you're using Windows Notepad or Notepad++, you can launch it directly to Chrome. And I'll zoom in here, you can see my table has a single cell. So I'm going to add the next one. And the reason I do this one at a time is so that if something goes wrong, I can see it happening right away and I can adjust accordingly. I believe I made a brown one, so try that out. Guess I did not. I made a dark purple one. Purple one. And I save that, and F5 reloads it, Control F5 downloads everything from the server all over again. And why is this not working? Dark, too many P's. Control S, F5, and there we go. Now clearly this is not the property that you're going to see on the real game board. They should be the red ones and then the chance, but I'm just going to put enough in there so you can see what's going on. I'll copy this one again, and at the end of the row we have another big property. Okay, so that's a whole row. I'm going to make a 4x4 grid. There's another row, there's another row, and there's our final row. I'm going to save that. Go back to the web page. I'm going to reload it. We've got 4x4. Now the next step is replacing the middle with that middle image that we have. So I need to get rid of those middle ones. So we'll put the other orange one around down the side. And there's our middle picture. Then we can do this again, but we no longer need the middle picture because we're going to do a row span property of 9 and a column span property of 9 for the cell. And then all we have to do is make sure that we've got 9 purples. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 there, and we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 there. And now for the rows, I need to make sure we got enough rows. I think that one was pretty. And oh, that's an extra one. And that's an extra one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows. Let's see what that looks like. Pretty close, but column span's not working. As I forgot to close the row span. And there we go. That'll do it. The next step is getting FileZilla to work. So this is an FTP client. And it's going to connect to an FTP server. And with this button here, you can set up a new connection. And the reason to do this is so that you only have to do it once. I'm currently on my home LAN, so if I'm going to connect, I'll put my IP address here, the account login, and then I connect, and it tells you that you're successful, you're in here, and this is the server file system, and this is my local computer file system. So on this side, I got to go to where my assets are stored, and we've put them in the www folder. And on this side, as a class, we're all going to use the same folder. So to distinguish yours, I'm going to create a directory, call it your first name and your last initial. And there you go. Navigate inside your directory. And Control A will select everything. And drag it in. And the only thing you want to be careful of here is if you double click something, this tells it that it's going to transfer. So if you double click on this side, it's trying to take your file and put it over here. And as you can see here, it's saying, would you like to delete your copy on your home computer and replace it with the file from the server? And what this can do is erase all of your hard work. So be careful with which way you're sending the files. Likewise on this side, if you double click a file, it tries to send it over to the server, and it'll try to overwrite if you want. Be careful how you do it. You can erase all your hard work. And once you have it uploaded, go over to another page. We'll navigate over to the server. And that's located in the student directory, and your first and last should pop up with your index file. This is what I was talking about, how the web browser knows that you want the index page, so you don't have to type it in. And the beauty here is every time you create a project folder, like say this was an HTML folder, you don't have to, you can make a change to the whole product, and your customers don't need to change their bookmarks because they know that it's going to be the index page. The other thing you have to do here is create a title in here, and you should probably put your company logo and maybe you want to replace this middle area with something that is unique to your brand, and include a price. And since this part can be time consuming, you don't really want to make edits on the web server. You want to make all your edits on your local copy, and when you're finally finished and everything, you've done all your testing, then you upload to the server, just to make, and really this is just to make sure it works. And for handing in your evidence, take a picture of, like, just use snipping tool and take an image of this, send it in to me, maybe give me a link too of your product. Just copy the link, and that should be really easy. Enjoy.